And we know about the article that we know something about the article that Vice wrote on her, and that author is. I'm not going to say anything about that author because I think Reb is going to address that. So I'm going to let Reb address and probably pop some of this journalist's history onto the screen because I think visual aids uh would be best. So let's jump into this. Oh, whoops! Would it help if I unmute? That would usually help. Here she is, a fox girl tornado. Well, okay, yeah, Anubis, I know. Well, again, that's like the DEI stuff, the Sweet Baby Yank and Bridge. That's like the quote unquote DEI.
Hey, what's up, guys? Riff here. So it looks like we're getting a trilogy to this ongoing Kische situation. If you want full context behind everything leading up to today, you can check out my 2 previous videos on the subject. However, things have gotten very crazy with this cancellation campaign targeting Kische and her sponsors. A life ruination campaign fueled by various articles and viral tweets trying to slander her,
Yep.
including 3 hit piece articles produced by Vice. And now, after the effect of those, Kische is now making an
Thank you,
official
Anubis.
response with the help of this individual. Not sure who they are, but they cosplayed as
Oh,
Kische and delivered the
fuck.
document to their door. This contains a Google Doc that Kische has made responding to the situation and also making
Oh,
retraction requests to Vice and threatening possible legal action if they do not
oh.
follow.
Okay, so hey Vice, like some kind of secret middle of the night ballot drop. I left a little something for you. I made sure it's on par with your company's journalistic quality so you'll take it seriously. Oof. Now, here's the funny part, chat. Kirsche actually does have a case for defamation. Unlike a certain someone that we talked about yesterday, Kirsche actually can take legitimate legal action against Vice because she can actually demonstrate financial loss based upon their slander. Oops.
Through on that request. Now, to sum up everything leading up to this video in a very simple way, there's a cancellation campaign targeting Kische. They're trying to get her deplatformed. They're trying to remove her sponsors, and they're doing this.
The person who wrote the hit pieces on Kische has deleted their X account.
Shocking. Which is par for the course with these journalists. Whenever somebody writes a hit piece like this, and they get called out in a big fucking way, that is par for the course. They instantly start backpedaling and trying to erase, hoping that people haven't screen capped their, basically screen capped their evidence that could be used in a possible lawsuit. Unfortunately for them, the internet never forgets. Yeah, like fishy, that's it. Either privating or deleting is kind of, on par with what they do. They're crashing on Blue Sky to the point of stepping back from Blue Sky. Good.
Through hit piece articles as well as viral tweets trying to paint her as a white supremacist, racist, Nazi, bigot, all these buzzwords they love to
Yep.
overuse on social media. And unfortunately, this campaign was successful in ending one of her partnerships, and that was with the game Crime Boss. And
Right,
she
I
was
heard
an
about this.
integral part of growing this game and putting it on the map. And when people saw that she was removed, her partnership severed as a result of this ridiculous, slanderous cancel campaign, you can see the results. The negative reviews poured in. People are very mad at these developers for
Yeah.
really having no spine and also for welcoming in the modern audience, who, by the way, is now asking for refunds because they think this game is too problematic. Congratulations, Crime Boss.
Oh my God, these people managed to piss off everyone. They literally did. Okay, this is kind of sideways from it. The people who did Crime Boss literally managed to piss off everyone. They had an audience because of Kische. And then when they booted her because of what Vice put out, they said, "Oh, we're terminating it." So their fucking ratings have tanked on the game. And then the player base they did have is getting triggered by the phrase candy ass. Literally, Mr. Alt F4 Telly. They use the phrase candy ass, which is a gay slur. Okay. Mr. Alt F4, I have a question for you. Did you tweet this at The Rock by chance? Because we must not forget, like, I have no lost love for Dwayne Johnson on anything. But leave us not forget that one of Dwayne Johnson's catchphrases is literally candy ass. He calls everyone a candy ass. So Alt F4, while you're reading about someone in Crime Boss using the phrase candy ass, did you say this to Dwayne Johnson? You can say it anonymously on a forum on Steam. Did you go to Dwayne Johnson's Twitter and tell him, "Hey, you're wrong for using the phrase candy ass. That's a slur. I demand you stop doing it"? No, you didn't. Why? Because you're a candy ass.
You played yourself. Now, of course, that's not good enough for a lot of the people involved in this harassment campaign against Kische. You can see this Anna Vellens individual. This is a Vice journalist who's made or been the subject of all 3 hit pieces on Kische that have been recently released. And now that they had this successful campaign with Crime Boss, now they're going after other sponsors, mainly gamer subs, trying to get them to end their partnership with Kische over misinformation and their primary sources, which is largely from Reddit posts and 4chan posts. Yes, words of other people on various websites like that. That's the best they got. But also there's other people fuming in the VTubing.
Hold on. A VTuber you work with has sent her following after me. Okay. Now, I have a question because I am somewhat... Oh, I'm very aware that Anna Vellens closed their account. I'm very aware. You guys said it, for God's sake. I have a question. I really don't follow Kische all that much. She's kind of outside my sphere of the things that I follow. But did Kische say anything to insinuate that she wanted her community to go after Anna Vellens? Is there any indication that she directed her community to go after Anna Vellens? No. My expression of shock and amazement at the fact that no, Kische did not indeed send her community after Anna Vellens. I'm shocked. Shocked! Well, not that shocked. Silver, Anna Vellens is this person. She wrote a hit piece on Kische labeling her as a Nazi. She, and we're going to probably get into it, who also has something of a dark past of their own that came back to bite them in the ass. Yeah, Anna's trans, and she's pushed some fiction that is frankly disgusting. That is probably worse than what anything Kische has ever said. But Rev will probably get into that, so chat, no spoilers for people that don't know. And Truth DK0, thank you for the follow.
Websites like that, that's the best they got. But also there's other people fuming in the VTubing scene. You can see this post that got a lot of attention saying, so much Kische hate has been on my timeline recently, and I have to say to that, keep it going, guys. I love to see those racist Nazi Mayo Moon crickets get dragged to filth.
Really?
Man, the anti-racist...
Is this person actually a VTuber? is Nerlina actually a VTuber? Or are they a VTweeter? Because I suspect a lot of people that put VTuber in their name are actually VTweeters, not VTubers. I'm just curious because I seriously doubt any actual VTuber would say this. Yeah, I'd like no. Well, of course they're being racist. Of course they're being racist, Brevin. Did you expect any less? The ones that claim someone else is racist, 9 times out of 10 are the ones that they themselves are racist. She has a Twitch account? Okay. All right, so she's a VTuber. I wonder how big her community is gonna get after this.
Strike once again. This is advanced levels of racism, ladies and gentlemen. This person has to pull out a whole thesaurus to try to make up a slur to go after Kische with, while also trying to supposedly combat racism. Now, as these people
Anubis,
always say,
exactly.
Freedom of speech does not mean freedom from consequences, and that's what happened here. They would lose their ambassador position with Advanced GG. And you can see they're quoting people making
I just got an email saying that I've been terminated from the Advanced Ambassador program because I used Maya Moon crickets in a tweet. Chat, don't bother with the Tangia. I'll take care of it for you. Ha ha! Gotcha, bitch. She lost her sponsor to Advance. Look at this, fellow goons. I bet they're so mad and are punching holes in the wall over this. And then, of course, she pulls out a racist slur. Can you blanks read? I don't care that deeply, let it go. If you didn't care that much, sweetheart, you wouldn't have said this. You wouldn't have said this if you didn't care.
Fun of them saying, can you people read? I don't care that deeply, let it go. And people are clowning on this, of course, because clearly someone who constantly says over and over again, I don't care, clearly care a lot. But here's what I think they care about. I think they care about being made fun of. That's what they care about. They don't care about losing the Advanced GG partnership or ambassador position that much, because let's be real, this is not shaming small content creators. I was a small content creator myself at one point. But this person has like 6 YouTube videos, and their last stream was like 6 months ago. I don't think they're making a substantial amount of money from their ambassador position with Advanced GG. So losing that was not some major financial blow. So I think that's why they're so okay with what happened. However...
And I have to wonder if they tried to get that... I have no idea what the Advanced Ambassador program is with GG. No clue. My guess is they got that so they could, again, feel important. That's kind of what people in this sphere do. It like when they're trying to grow the channel, they want to feel important. And so they applied for it and were accepted to this Advanced Ambassador program. Oh, is it Jake? Okay, I'll let it cook.
While they were getting dunked on, they started to get a little spicy in the replies to that previous post saying this. I just learned Rev is sponsored by Advanced. Thank God they dropped me, bro. Holy S. I didn't know they were working with that stinker.
What? Really? Oh, they are so fucking butthurt. Oh, they are so butthurt right now. They're trying. Okay, I'm guessing this is a she based on the picture and the name. She is so fucking butthurt. And you know, and she's trying to get clicks by using Rev's name. That's what this is. She's trying to get clicks And she's basically tailing off of Rev's name to get the exposure. This was done specifically I guarantee you. She said this specifically to try and get hate clicks and hate comments and hate engagement. Guarantee. She was hate farming. When in reality, she's totally fucking butthurt. She spurged out on you and said for a black woman. Okay, so okay. Yeah, I based on this one above, I'm not surprised that she's black, given her other comment where she used the N-word, and and she's talking about here about supposedly people making racist jokes against black people towards her. I did get that summation that she was black, just based on that context.
Well, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, use code REV30 to get 30% off your total advanced GG order. Use that link in the pinned comment and make sure you use that code REV30 at checkout to save 30%. This offer is valid until the 16th, so make sure to take advantage of it while you still can. Now let me talk about Advanced GG. What a great time to try it out or to restock with this code. So you can see we have this line of fan favorite flavors, including some of my personal jars, like my Rev Rocket Pop, which is definitely a fan favorite. People love this flavor. You can see these are energy flavor. There's multiple types you can get. You can get hydration, focus, or energy. I personally like energy the best because it gives you the benefits of alternatives without the crash or jitters you get from stuff like energy drinks or pre-workout. You can scroll through. There's endless flavors for you to try out here. Blue Raz Slush, Cotton Candy, Dream Team Punch, which I highly recommend, Lemon Lime, also Lemonade, and they just restocked on the Magic Rainbow Sherbet, which is one of my personal favorites, so you can try out their flavors. I haven't had a single one that isn't delicious. Very easy to make. And on top of that, if you want to have a shaker to make it with, check out this little category right here. And you can see there's a more affordable option with a plastic shaker.
Okay, this is adorable. This shaker, the art on this shaker is absolutely adorable. I love this. Rev with straw. That is so cute. I absolutely love that. Yeah, he has some waifu cup, but then he's got a waifu cup with his wife. And that is fucking beautiful. This looks so cute.
Shaker right here featuring me and my wife, Darling Straub, in our VTuber models. We also have the ice shaker here, which is made to keep your drinks cold all day long, and it's also very durable. And you can see the smug face on this art. I mean, can't it get any better than that? And here's some other options for you guys to look at. As always, I greatly appreciate Advanced GG. They've been an incredible company to work with for about 2 years now, and it's been a big fan favorite with you guys. And using this link in the pinned comment and Rev30 to get 30% off your order greatly helps out me and this channel in advance, and also makes the worst
really,
people
Bronco?
see.
Oh,
yes, that
yeah,
is a
that is all I need to know.
Ladies and gentlemen, check out that pinned.
Yeah, so in the Twitter bio, that person lists themselves as he, she, they. So in other words, they are not human? I don't know, like literally, they literally threw every pronoun in the book, which means they have no identity. They have zero identity. They are a nebulous thing. God.
Comment and help support the channel. And yeah, that is it for the spiel. And of course, you can see right here that Kische would respond to this series of tweets when she's referred to as a Mayo moon cricket, and she would say, actually, I'm a fox. And also, let me make this clear, since people are saying this about Kische, I'm sure they're going to say it about me. If someone wants to talk on social media, I think anyone should be able to talk about them. Just because they're a small channel doesn't mean I'm stripped of my freedom of speech. I can respond to people, especially when they're directly talking about you. They're starting the fight, so they better expect someone to respond when they're called out like
Go
that.
on.
But anyways,
Expect someone to respond and expect to be able to produce some fucking receipt to the shit that you spew. That's the other key thing. If you post something online and you target someone, your ass better be ready to back it up with facts or receipts. Because when you don't, you get fucking buried by comments. Absolutely fucking buried. And what happens? They run away.
let's return to Kische here, that original post we started off with earlier in the video. You can see her tagging Vice and saying, like, some...
I was told don't start the fight but finish it.
I will do an addendum to that, Hefe. Not only don't start the fight but finish it, but when you get into the fight, you come armed. It is a foolish person that enters into a fight unarmed.
Post we started off with earlier in the video. You can see her tagging Vice and saying, like some kind of secret middle of the night ballot drop. I left a little something for you. I made sure it's on par with your company's journalistic quality, so you'll take it seriously. And let's play this video, by the way.
Okay. No sound?
Amazing stuff, as always, here. But of course, let's get into the Google Doc. And
here we go.
she made a very concerted effort to make this
oh my God.
an elaborate shit post while also seriously addressing the issue. So she begins by addressing Vice's Waypoint, which is, I guess, Vice's attempt to revitalize that platform here. But you can see, she says, an open letter from Kische. Hey, Vice, what the F? I'm Kische, a VTuber, which means I stream with a digital avatar that looks like this. Down here, she says you can catch me on these various platforms. She gets lots of support and then says, I'm not a Nazi. They walk funny, did too much meth, and didn't like to laugh, and they probably would hate me.
Well, I don't know. Amo might have something to say about the Nazis having done too much meth. I'm pretty sure Amo did more meth than the entire Nazi army combined, and he was Finnish. But potato, you know.
Me and most of my friends, so how come you keep calling me one? And then she says, Vice used to be a very respected outlet. I agree with that. They used to be a very respected outlet, one that I enjoyed personally. But they say, in any event, about a month ago, Waypoint, which is one of your verticals, a quasi-independent outlet, a failed gaming news site that you are trying to revive, something most people don't even know exists. Either way, it started publishing articles about me saying I'm a bigot, I'm a Nazi simp, and I'm responsible for all sorts of online harassment. It's completely untrue, of course, but also why me? Why now? I'm an anime foxwoman. What could a once respectable news org want with me? It's 2018 all over again. Is Vice the PC police for VTubers? So
I think I know why Vice went after Kische, a VTuber. Because people are starting to listen to VTubers more. That's why. People are actually...
Listen.
Shut up, Nami! Or Navi. Shut up, Navi. People are actually starting to listen to VTubers as a source of news. For God's sake, we're listening to Rev right now as a source of news. So people trust VTubers more than they trust you, Vice. That is why I think Vice, and in particular this quote-unquote journalist, went after Kische. Because Kische has preached against DEI and Bridge. She has a very significant following, and she is starting to broach into... She's basically starting to become like a sort of journalist VTuber, kind of like how Asmongold is being considered a political streamer, even though he's not. I think Kische is starting to broach into the same thing. And people are actually listening to her. They're going to her streams and they're watching her videos because she's actually outlining all of the stuff that's been dead. She's digging up on DEI, on Bridge. Correct, she's a semi-regular on side scrollers, and she's just one. There are other VTubers that are also into the journalistic space, like Rev, like Nux, And people are listening to them far more than they're listening to Vice. And they're diametrically opposed in their points of view. That, I think, is why Vice went after Kische, a VTuber. That's my opinion.
Again, Vice, what the F? Okay, let me break it down. I know I've covered this in the past couple of streams, but Vice isn't a subscriber yet. Maybe if I tangent about their Colombian donkey, oh my lord, video, a few more times they'll come around. I'm sure they won't, unfortunately. So here they begin with the first article. This is the headline saying, why is this gamer subs VTuber pushing the great replacement theory? And
You'll take note of some very specific verbiage in this headline. You'll notice a key thing that they put into the headline. They didn't say, why is this VTuber pushing the great replacement theory? They put, why is this gamer subs VTuber? They did this specifically to try and target Kische and to target gamer subs. They printed this article not for journalism, but for agenda. They specifically targeted gamer subs to try and put they did this because they think, I'm going to put pressure on gamer subs to try and force them to drop Kische and hurt her because I don't like what she's saying. Zep, no, that is not me grabbing Kische's tits. As much as you want me, as much as you want it to be me, no, it's not me. Yeah, it's, well, Hefe, that's a whole other thing. I'm not disagreeing, but it's a whole other thing. But you'll notice they specifically put this in there for agenda reasons. This right here, the headline alone tells you this was not journalism. It was a fucking hit piece with an agenda in mind.
as she says, not to brag or anything, I have over 184,000.
Hey, sorry. And for those that asked about the what is replacement theory, I'm bare-bonesing this because I've not actually looked into it all that much. Replacement theory is basically a for us working. It's an idea that essentially it has to do with the open borders where. Okay, yeah, you kind of said it right there. It's trying to replace one native or indigenous culture with another. So, in other words, this author, this journalist, is claiming that Kische is pushing the narrative that essentially the U.S. government, I think it was the U.S. government, maybe she was referring to another country, I am not sure, was basically created this influx of immigrants from, effectively speaking, Muslim countries, because I think that is the current running theory, to try and basically replace white people with Muslims. I believe that is the current theory behind the whole great replacement theory. It's focusing primarily on people that are Muslim replacing white people. It is, to my understanding, is what the current iteration of this concept is. I could be mistaken. It could be a different ethnicity, but that's, I believe, where it is right now.
Replacement theory. And as she says, not to brag or anything, I have over 184,000 fans. You're accusing me of bigotry because one of my fans is a supposed Nazi. That's like saying McDonald's supports communism because Kim Jong-un likes Big Macs. And what she's referring to is a post where someone bought her merch, and in that post that they shared with her merch in the shot, there was also some what people claim are Nazi symbols. And now they're trying to say because of that, she is supporting X, Y, and Z. It is an incredible reach, and they're trying everything in their power to basically lambast her over that. Now, of course, we can't really get into these articles without talking about its author, at least the author of the first two, Anna Valence. You saw her earlier. She's
was a UN report. Okay, thank you,
sponsors Kische works with relentlessly on social media, and she is someone who is a massive hypocrite, and her credibility is none, as I will show right now. So recently she started
Here we
working
go.
with Vice. And one of her first articles was this: these VTubers want you in their lewd game. You might want to pass. And in this case, they're talking about the LewdTuber agency Via Lore, right? They make two major claims. They said that their hiring process is transphobic with the biggest reach you will ever see in your life. But relevant to what I'm talking about here is they call out one of the talents who is a lolly VTuber who obviously does lewd activities with this company since they're a LewdTuber agency. And Anna Vellens says that is problematic, that it's promoting pedophilia and that this content caters to predators, all predicated on the concept that they support. That
Hi, Sacandrago. Welcome in, Raiders. Welcome in. We're welcome in. Welcome in. How was stream? Did you have a good time in VR chats? Did we have a good time? You caught us in the middle of checking out Rez, talking about what was going on with Kische. And how Vice basically is shitting itself after what they did to Kische. So, welcome in. I hope you will join us. Kore! Well, Jack, here's the thing. Something Reb said made me think of something here.
That is problematic, that it's promoting pedophilia and that this content caters to predators, all predicated on the concept
that she's claiming that this promotes PDFs. And it's predicated on PDFness. What's a common trend that we see with people that like to basically see a lolicon character who is not underage, by you, but just appears and has a lolly look? Yeah. What do we do? What usually ends up coming out when someone does this? When you look at their history. Yeah. Again, shouting the loudest to cover up what is hiding right behind them. Give him trying to obfuscate their own proclivities. Okay, Falcon, have a great night.
Concept that they support,
and I know what she is, and I know
says,
what's in some of her closet.
Fiction affects reality. That's how they're jumping to this conclusion, saying fiction affects reality. That is the standard they are using onto other people to make wild accusations against them. And just like everyone else who makes that statement,
talk about it.
They're a massive hypocrite on the subject of fiction affecting reality or not. They make that claim while also consuming very...
Anna Vellens started going after these LewdTubers after the company they work for turned him down, saying they wanted females.
Okay, is Anna... Anna is trans, but is Anna trans male or trans female? I thought Anna was trans female, not trans mat. Am I wrong about that? Yeah, that's what I thought, male but female. Okay, so Andrea, they turned her down because regardless of how much of a bitch Anna might be, I'm going to be better than her and actually respect the fact that she is female. She is transgender female, and unlike her, I will actually offer her the respect and courtesy of referring to her as a female. She would not do the same for anything else, but I will afford her that respect. So, yeah. This is all you gotta see. Especially this one right here, gushing over magical girls. And I'm guessing, this character's tits are out. So, just as a reminder, chat, gushing over magical girls, the characters in it are 15 or 16 in gushing over magical girls. Just as a reminder, and I don't know if she's reposting this shit. Just to remind you.
Very similar content themselves. Here's reposts and interactions they've had with all kinds of art featuring characters from lolicon series, characters that are underage, characters that are lollies, and slash or all of the above. So they consume and interact with that stuff themselves that they're using to chastise others, while also being a very vocal, long-time customer of Faku, which sells a whole category on their website of lolicon dojins. So they don't go after this company that they support, but they use that same thread of logic to attack another company, in this case Vialore, and make wild accusations against them. That's obviously very hypocritical. On top of that, this voice clip has made the rounds. I'm not going to play it because I've heard it once and I've heard it too many times at that point. You can listen to it for yourself, or you can watch other people reacted to it, including Asmongold, God bless his soul, going through that. But here we have Anna Vellens sharing a fantasy of theirs where, to sum it up, it's some reality where trans people have subjugated biological women and have now forced them into breeding facilities, and now the trans people routinely R-word them, and that's the story, their fantasy.
Yeah, this is what I heard about. Like, this is fucking sick. Leave us not forget. So she's good with it's effectively speaking, Anna Vallens hates non-trans people. Flat the fuck out. She hates non-trans individuals. She constantly promotes trans. From everything I've heard about this person, she's constantly promoting trans individuals. She will attack anybody that has anything poor to say. Like if someone doesn't want to involve a trans person in their work or something, she goes after them, and then she does this shit. It's and here we go. Yeah, she's called out for basically killing stories that have the trans individual as the criminal. Like if there's a news story where the perpetrator, the criminal, is someone who is trans, and Anna Vallens does everything in her power to try and kill the story, because in her head, a trans person can't possibly be a criminal simply on the merit of being trans. It is unthinkable that a trans person could commit a crime. And yet she's uploading a SA fantasy where trans people SA non-trans females is a fetish. Like basically they've subjugated and enslaved biological women in breeding facilities and routinely essays them. And she was stupid enough to try and go after Kische. This is kind of the funniest part. This woman, with all of these skeletons in her closet, actually thought it was a good idea to go after Kische, who is vehemently against DEI and bridge and has no problem digging into anything related to those. Did she really think that nobody would dig into her history and unearth the zombies that were lurking in her fucking closet? The level of stupidity is honestly kind of mind-boggling and impressive.
Fantasizing about. Again, this person says fiction affects reality and you should be judged so based on your interests. Obviously very hypocritical here again. On top of that, they have routinely expressed interest in age play audios, in producing them. And if you don't know what that is, that's when one or multiple people in a group, they're role playing is an age that they're not, and take a good guess as to what ages they're typically role playing as. And then Rev is kind of going off in this. Honestly, age play is not a huge thing for people. No, Pat's Cool Cat. No, it's not.
For those that are in the BDSM community, you would be familiar with this. It may not be your thing, but it is not uncommon in the BDSM community to do age play. It is not. And it's also not a PDF thing. No, Hefe, it's honestly not. You ever heard of baby play? That's actually pretty common in the kink sphere. It realistically is. Now, it absolutely may not be your cup of tea. It's not mine, and if it's not yours, I don't blame you for a moment. But it is a reasonably common fetish in the BDSM community. But it's not done in it's like people might try to equate it to PDF. It's not. It is a fetish because while it's like playing, it's literally playing pretend. But both parties know that neither of them are of that age. It is something of like, oh yeah, Anubis, I remember that, and like it's within the kink sphere. But it's very much just like it's role. Yeah, that's exactly it. It is role play for the sake of role play. The people involved do not actually have any want or desire to actually engage in said activities with underage people. Okay, that is very clear. It's often conflated to they're doing this because they're actually PDFs and they actually want to do PDF stuff. No, they don't. They don't. This is a clearly defined role play. They are very aware that neither of them are underage. This is literally just a fantasy, and they have no because the whole thing with PDF is PDF are actually okay. Should I actually dive into this? Okay, quick and dirty. PDFs are actually attracted to inappropriately aged individuals. In age play, they have the trappings. I'm not going to dive into it too much. In age play, people have the trappings of it, but they don't actually look of that age. So it's the trappings. So that's where the differentiation is when it comes to this type of kiki play. There are the trappings of it, but they don't actually look like someone of an inappropriate age. And therein lies the difference. Okay? It is a fantasy, and that's it. Exactly, Anubis. And it's of people actually of an inappropriate age. In the kinky stuff, it's not. It's not. They're not. It is different. It is a fantasy. All parties involved know it is a fantasy. There's no actual desire to engage in PDF rape type activities. What? It's playing pretend, it's a fantasy, and that's it. And that is all. So, with AIDS play audios, and I am not saying Anna Valens is any kind of angel on this one. Total misunderstanding. I am not. But this whole thing, in the grand scope of what we know about Anna Valens right now, this is kind of a nothing. Every millennial has a secret need to getting a juicy juice, a coloring book, and a nice warm cookie, and nap time with cuddles up against mommy's tummy. Realistically speaking, this is nothing. In comparison to all the rest of the shit that we know. Rev might take issue with it, and that's fine if Rev must take issue with it. But in a realistic sense, this is, compared to the rest of it, is kind of nothing. And by the way, Menzo the Malicious, thank you for the follow.
And they doubled down on that claim in 2024 and said at first, professionally speaking, it was a bit of a no-go for them. But then they said, I don't have much writing up on age play, but I'm very supportive of it, having been in a mommy-daughter dynamic that was extremely fulfilling for them. And they feel like age play can be an important and healing form of play for many adults and should be destigmatized. I show these things for one reason only. Some people say just because they have these interests, they should be immediately discredited. I show this because it shows that they're a hypocrite and that their words
Yeah.
shouldn't be trusted. They said, because you consume this anime stuff, you are a predator. And that's
Yeah.
what you're appealing to with your
Okay.
Where do I get this cookie you speak of, Ember?
From the cookie jar, of course, Mike. Where else would you find cookies? They're in the cookie jar.
VTuber model. While they also have these fantasies of the R word, of age play, of these other things just involving anime itself.
Well, they already did, Fishy. That's Rhett was bringing this up to show that they have no problem with age play, but they demonize people that like lolicon. That's how she fucked it up. Is she's already, she's made posts saying that she's cool with age play, but if you like lollies, you're a PDF. So shock of shock, she's proven herself to be a hypocrite.
But now we're going to move on to one of the more egregious things that needs to be brought up as well. This article they made in 2020. This article is disgusting for reasons I'm going to explain. So Anna, in their infinite wisdom, decided it was a good idea to rig an adult toy on themselves and have it so when they're playing Fall Guys, if they bumped into another character, it would trigger the toy. So yes, I understand this is a video game, right? And it's interaction with other players, but there's no consent here. They're getting gratification through this game involving players who don't know that it's happening. They're not consenting to what's happening. That's what makes this very disturbing, and what makes it even more disturbing is that Fall Guys is a game heavily played by children. So I don't understand on what planet they thought this was a good idea. This is a very disturbing thing that they produced back in 2020. I produced the...
Okay. I'm trying to understand what the hell happened here. So she was playing Fall Guys. She had a toy hooked up to it on her, so that when she bumped into another avatar, the toy would trigger on her. I'm a little bit confused on how there's an issue with consent. It's like was she broadcasting this knowledge to the other players? Because the other players were just like playing a game. Like, I understand and appreciate that kids play the game. I fully understand and appreciate it. It's, yeah, but the thing I'm struggling with here is, like, okay, so she wasn't broadcasting it. It's, the question is this, like, when she was doing this, was there some kind of animus about I'm playing with kids and kids are making this happen? Or is it just because it's a game that kids play? Because that's where I'm trying to figure this out. Like, if she, wait, hang on. She streamed doing this on the hub. Okay, so if she streamed this on the hub, and it was known that, and she made it known that she was, okay, that's the context I'm kind of looking for. Okay, that's the context I'm looking for. Like, did she do this and with the intention, like, I'm going to be playing with underage individuals, and the underage, and like the, so to speak, the underage individuals were going to be causing this to happen, and they, even if they didn't know it. And she kind of broadcast that. If that's the context, okay, I get it. That part I get. That is the context that I'm looking for. Because literally just playing a game and having a toy synced up with it, so if you bump into another player and it goes off, it's and it's not being broadcast to everyone, I was like, okay, if the players don't know about it, it's, that's the, yeah, okay, if Red has got some better ways to explain the context, I do want to hear that.
These things to show you this is not someone who's very trustworthy. This is not someone who should have much credibility whatsoever. They're a massive hypocrite on a million different subjects. But let's finally return.
Okay, so, and in this whole freaking article, it's all kinds of fucked up. That's the thing. This is just all kinds of fucked up, and Jesus, fuck. You would do that when my eyes were closed, Dragon. Fucking hell. Okay. Yeah, because the implication here is she knows she's playing a game that underage people play, and so the implication is she's, enjoying the experience because of the people that she is playing with, which is, to be extremely light about it, fucking ew. If she did it specifically because of the age range of most players, that's fucking sick. Which I suspect is the rationale, is she did this with this game because she knows the age of the players, and that gave her an extra thrill. And that's fucking sick.
Hypocrite on a million different subjects. But let's finally return to the Google Doc here, okay? So you can see Kische talking about this first one, saying, rather than back up this outrageous accusation, the article starts off by talking about my sponsor, GamerSupps. So then they go on here and say, however, GamerSupps is in hot water with many VTuber fans due to the behavior of who else but Kische, an anime fox girl with a knack for sharing alt-right talking points. Kirsche's landed herself in controversy.
It should be also noted that Valen's videos and VOD on the hub were removed by the hub for violating the hub's toes.
Shocking. Truly, I'm shocked by this revelation.
After controversy online due to her right-wing beliefs. At this point, it begs the question whether GamerSupps will one day pull the plug on the VTuber.
Oh, and by the way, chat, this one is another word that has lost meaning. This is another expression that has lost all meaning. It means nothing anymore. Again, it is entered into the pantheon of calling someone that simply because they disagree with them. If you disagree with them, they're right wing. We talked about this with Hassan thing before. Hassan thinks if you don't agree with him, you're right wing. He flat out fucking said that. This verbiage has been ruined by these freak shows. It now literally just means you don't agree with me. Yeah, and Zed, you are correct. The right wing and left wing both have been absolutely fucking ruined and has been regulated to you don't agree with me, and therefore you are an evil person. That's it. That's all this means now. You don't agree with me, therefore I consider you evil and you should be canceled. And take that, take canceled as you will, because we've seen some rather extreme versions of canceled.
For good. Do you see the way they're approaching this? This is all about life ruination. This is about pulling sponsors. Yep. This is not about spreading awareness. That's why I said activism. All it's focusing on is all about activism. Saying, why are they still?
He wasn't arrested, Dragon.
Working with you?
He wasn't.
You're so bad. You have alt-right talking points, right-wing beliefs. They don't even keep it consistent. Which, honestly, with people like this, anything to the right of Karl Marx is probably alt-right to them. But anyways, Kische says, my first time hearing about this supposed controversy, literally, I've been sponsored by GamerSupps since September of 2023. This is a tactic called manufacturing consensus, where activists claim everyone agrees with them to make their points seem legit. Note that this paragraph doesn't cite a single source.
And they never do.
So they are literally just saying everyone's offended while they're creating the narrative that everyone is offended in order to make their claims have any sort of meaning whatsoever. And also,
kind of like what we hear about, like the review bombing. The review bombing is happening. Everybody's saying this, everybody's saying that, and it never is. You get this in literally all walks of journalism. That they say, oh, that the internet is furious about such and such, and they basically show 5 tweets. Kische is 100% right. It is. I mean, manufacturing consensus. I'd almost call it manufacturing legitimacy. Not even consent. Maybe consensus. Consensus probably is the right word, but I would also classify it as manufacturing legitimacy, because they're trying to legitimize what they're saying by making the claim that so many people hate this. Not even so much like agreeing with them because they're coming in on the back end, but they're saying, so it's the whole. A lot of people are saying bullshit.
so the sources cited in the article, guess where they're from? Anonymous posts on Reddit. This is hard-hitting journalism in action, ladies and gentlemen. But let's continue on. Here's the headline of the second Vice article, saying VTubing has an elephant in the room. Bigotry.
For God's
What's their
sake.
proof of this? A random 4chan post. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that's what we should be really focusing on as a trusted source.
And of course, because they are random and have no identity, they're going to use Kische as the scapegoat. Because she's the most convenient target. Because she's actually written about her, so why not double down? Am I dragon? Oh, I'm moving up in the... Wait, is this another one where I'm something I never knew about? Okay, hang on. So, okay, I have to... I'm a bigot. Oh, goodness. Okay. So let me count the ways in. So let's see. I'm a Nazi. I'm a wokey. I'm woke. Apparently I'm a bigot. What else? Am I alt-right? Did I get called alt-right? I can't remember if I'm also alt-right, or if I'm alt-left. What else am I? Hitler? Yes, that's right. Yes, I'm a Zionist. Yes, I forgot. I'm a Zionist. But chat, I learn so much about myself from these wholly insightful anonymous commentators on the internet. I've learned so much about myself that I never knew. I feel so blessed to be able to gain such incredible introspection about myself that I never knew about. No, I'm not a banana cat. No, that one, Darn, I'm pretty sure I'm not a banana cat. I'll have to disagree with you on that.
So, again, for the millionth time, Kische says, obviously I think harassment is bad. I don't do it. And I tell my fans not to do it. The suggestion made repeatedly in this article that I and my fans endorse harassment is totally false. In fact,
Yes. And I do the same thing. In case you haven't noticed, chat, there's a banner sitting at the top of the chat, posted by one of my glorious mods, that you don't go after anybody. We bass on people in these reacts, but we never go after anybody. Because goddammit, if I hear about any of you going after any of these people, I will personally boot the fuck out of you, out of my community. Because we don't do that. We don't play that game. We are better than the people they claim we are to be. Just remember that.
in fact, fully half of the tweets quoted in this article are from a person who goes by Invented or Bint.
Yeah,
who has
Hefe, this
serially
model is
harassed
not
me for
mine. I don't
months.
own this
Does
model.
Anna Vellens mention this in her article? No. Do I have proof of this harassment, which I would have shared if Vice bothered to ask? Absolutely. Here's some examples. And it's like calling her Ku Klux Kische, saying they don't indulge in a place of cruelty. I take joy in knowing that she's burdened by hatred that should burden you in some form, if not from guilt.
What?
then from the rightful consequences as minimal as people criticizing and making fun of you on Twitter, can I add low-key set off the domino effect that led to a sketchy VTuber sponsor to lose thousands of dollars on my resume. So they're proudly saying that they're going to be the main charge here, trying to get her to financially suffer and lose sponsorships. Again, if you want to know, you can look at this person's profile. Like, it's not a daily obsession. It's not an hourly obsession with Kische. It's a by the minute obsession. It is non-stop attempts to engage in life ruination. They have latched on to Kische, and
Well, but of course, Anna doesn't look at this. Anna conveniently ignores this because it goes against her narrative. If she looked at this, then her activistic narrative would fall apart, and she couldn't try and do some kind of like public shaming of gamer subs to drop Kische. She was successful with the game devs, and that emboldened her to try and pull it with gamer subs. So this would basically tank her entire argument. So of course it wasn't brought up. Because what is journalistic integrity, right? Right?
Unfortunately suspect they're going to continue, but that's the sources being used for these articles. But they continue on and says the article doesn't mention this person that they're using as a source. And also, the article again talks about my sponsor GamerSups and tries to make it seem like there's some sort of controversy brewing. Here's the words that were in the article. Earlier this week, independent VTuber Rin Penrose announced the end of her partnership with gaming supplement company GamerSups. According to Penrose, her decision came to due to associations with creators whose views strongly conflict with my own, as well as a lack of communication from the company on this issue. And Kische says, look, I love GamerSups and that they support VTubers from every side of the political spectrum. That's one of the things that makes them such an amazing partner. That and their awesome.
Dragon, thank you for the tier 3. Thank you so much. And yes, Anubis. For right now, 2 VTubers are part owner of GamerSups. Lily and Cinder, and Russian Badger is also part owner. Now, whether or not Cinder will remain as part owner of GamerSups has yet to be determined, but as of right now, she is still currently part owner of GamerSups.
Supplements. And then she says, crossed out here, use code REV30 for 30% off your advanced GG order. That's very kind of her. Here we have this saying, I hope I continue to work with GamerSups, but if this effort to cancel me is successful, I have to wonder who's next. Well, that's the whole point. And people are already taking the crime boss narrative and using that as fuel to keep going after more sponsors. You're giving people a feedback loop. When you as a sponsor drop someone over these cancellation campaigns, you're rewarding their insane behavior in their life ruination campaigns, and you're encouraging them even further. But now we move on to the third article where it's titled Waypoint Stands with Anna Vellens. And they show posts from other people that's now being attributed to Kische once again. And they're showing suggestions on Throne, a wishlist website. This is one of them, for example. They're showing this on social media saying it continues, referring to the harassment campaign they've been facing. And it's a clown suit. Okay. But
Anna Vellens has a throne? This is implying that this is on Anna's throne. Why does Anna have a throne if she's not a streamer? Granted, I appreciate that anyone can have a throne, but most non-streamers don't have a throne. So, yeah, and she's got open throne suggestions. It's like, why is this harassment? Like, seriously, they put a clown costume on there because you're a clown. You got clowned on. No, thrown is not, no, not in the slightest, Seth. It's, to my experience, it's usually streamers that have a throne. I'm great to, like I said, it's, anyone can have a throne if they want. It's just, by experience, I haven't known about many people outside of streaming that have a throne. That's why I was a little bit confused. Cool Cat, there is undoubtedly that dig because they put the men's classic costume on there. So it's probably a double dig of both that and like she's getting like she's acting like a clown. I don't doubt that for a second.
Also, there was a very important discovery here made by Kuri Rinji. This is really important. This is referring to the third article. There was a change. There was a change to the article the day after, and now some of the content is missing. Well, what content? As you can see here, they're going after, now also Leaflet, by the way, but they're showing these screenshots of the harassment campaign going on, but they show this right here, right at the forefront. Now, if you look at this,
okay,
it says with the name blacked out, curious. You are a man, you cannot be a lesbian, referring to Anna Valens. And of course, this is posted in the Vor subreddit.
Yeah, I was gonna say, look at the subreddit this got fucking posted in. The fucking Vor site. Or the Vor subreddit. Like, this doesn't have anything to do with Anna Riven? Are you sure? Well, no, Keo, there's nothing explicitly wrong with Vor. It's just funny that this got posted in the Vor subreddit. It's just funny. That's all.
Interesting. But here's the problem. Look at the screenshot. Posted 1 second ago. Either Anna Valens has the fastest reaction speed in the entire world, or this is possibly a manufactured piece of supposed evidence here that they likely created themselves to paint themselves as a victim of an anonymous user sending a hateful message. This is a really terrible look for Vice. It was Vice's article trying to defend Anna Valens, and this is the type of evidence they're producing. It looks highly manufactured, if we're being honest. This looks really suspicious. You see this all the time.
I don't think it could be a bot. I don't think it's a bot,
like, I'm being harassed.
It's far more likely that like Rev said, it's manufactured evidence to basically try and provide some level of legitimacy to Anna. That is far more likely. It's It's the whole hoofbeats argument. You know, when you hear hoofbeats, you think of horses, not zebras. And the more likely thing is this was a manufactured post specifically to engage or to endear Anna's argument by claiming she is being harassed. That is the far more likely scenario.
Harassed. Here's a hate message. And, you know, they forget to crop out certain things, or they have situations like this posted 1 second ago. This looks incredibly suspicious. But let's continue on with this Google Doc. So, again, Kische says, harassment is bad. No one should do it. And I tell my fans not to. But then the article says everything she's going through. But I'll sum it up. Anna is being attacked for simply asking questions about certain areas of the VTubing community, which...
Oh, I fucking hate that excuse. This is the most common excuse for someone that's literally going on an attack on something. Every time someone is looking to attack and to twist words, they always go, I'm just asking questions.
Kitten update. All three are doing well, and I have homes lined up for all of them.
Right. Yeah, this expression, I'm just asking questions, is always used by people that love to twist facts and are looking to basically do, in journalism, hit pieces. This is a common thing for them to ask. So the moment this is said, you know it's bullshit. Immediately, you know it's bullshit the moment somebody says this.
she's an active part of. And you see what this whole active part of, where they're trying to go with all this by going after big names for clout. But, of course, Kische responds saying, just asking questions? Look, I read those articles pretty carefully. I do not see a lot of questions, mostly a lot of statements based on Reddit threads and other anonymous sources. This seems very targeted at me and why. I'm an anime fox girl, VTuber, your vice. What the F? Also, this happened in the article. The time for games is over. The irony is totally dead. We are still talking about VTubing, right? Anyway, not to be all you started it, but you literally started it. There was no controversy. No one, apart from a few anonymous internet trolls, Vice quotes in its articles, which might not even be real, at least some of the examples, was butthurt about me and what I was doing or saying on my stream until you started writing articles calling me a Nazi, and now you're calling me a bully and saying it's time to start a war. This is a 2018 cancel culture style article all over again. Or is this VTubergate, which is the phrase they're trying to use, by the way, which is absolutely embarrassing.
Are they?
Anyway.
Is someone literally trying to push a VTubergate type conspiracy? This is the first I'm hearing about it. So Vice in their articles tried to quote unquote pioneer VTubergate. Because I swear honestly, I'm sick of all these X-gate things. Like, folks, Nixon is dead. Nixon is long fucking dead. Stop trying to piggyback off of legitimate journalists back from the 1970s that actually did break the Watergate story. You are fucking hacks that have to use an expression from a great time in journalistic history to peddle your petty bullshit fakery. Well, zip ties back then, like the journalists who broke the story for Watergate in the 70s were legit journalists. They broke the Watergate story, for God's sake. Okay, that was legit. There's no disputing there. All these journalists that love throwing date behind everything are fucking hacks because they're trying to use a buzzword from the 70s that showcased great journalism in that moment to try and bolster themselves because they know their journalism fucking sucks and they're nothing but fictional hack writers. Flat out. These days, if you see something gate, you're pretty much guaranteed to know that whatever that's being written about is fucking bullshit and is nothing or is an activistic push to try and fuck over someone just because they don't agree with what the journalist thinks. That's it. Again, it is another fucking thing that the modern day journalists and activists have fucking ruined. This suffix on a situation has been fucking ruined in the last 10, 15 years because of journalists and activists trying to make everything a something gate. They've absolutely ruined it. And it's actually become the opposite. The moment they put the suffix of gate on anything, you know it's nothing. You know it's literally this group of people does not agree with the way we think, and therefore they are evil. And you should hate them. When, yes, the fact is at this point, you don't hate journalism, you don't hate mainstream journalists enough. Because they're fucking ruining everything by lying and spewing bullshit and actually spewing hatred themselves when they supposedly claim to champion against hatred.
It's getting pretty tiresome. Someone says something you don't agree with. Start saying they're controversial. Name drop a bunch of brands they work with, play the victim card, or rage tweet at them until their sponsors bail. This is the playbook used over and over again. And here is the final page saying, anyway, if you're just asking questions, I have one. How come in the middle of all this, Anna Vellens is asking people to buy her gifts on Throne? Surely
Oh,
this isn't just
fuck.
a big branding opportunity for someone who wants to become a definitive VTuber journo, right?
And there it is. And there it is. She's literally going after this right here. Explains everything. I was not aware that she was trying to become a VTuber journalist. This literally explains everything. She's trying to bring down Kische because Kische is, colloquially speaking, a VTuber journalist. Yes, she's jealous of Kische because she knows that she will never, ever be able to be a VTuber journalist of the likes of Kische or Rev or Nuts or all of the other VTuber journalists that are out there. And she's fucking butthurt about it. She literally tried to, it sounds like she literally tried to do some kind of bullshit of, if I destroy Kische, I can absorb her power and become a great VTuber journalist by absorbing the VTuber journalism power of Kische. Or some insane thought process like that. But it really does boil down to jealousy. She's jealous that Kische is something that she will never be capable of being. I think that is sounding like the through line for all of this. All of it.
Right? Seems awfully suspicious. Now here's the important part. I don't want to go to court over this, but if you keep calling me a Nazi and keep calling for my sponsors to drop me, what else am I supposed to do? Seriously, Vice, is this what you want? You want to be the PC police for VTubers. On your front page right now, you have articles about crazy, horny mud truckers and how cool it is to be goth in Ukraine right now. But my stream is too controversial. I'm asking nicely. I'm not saying that will get clipped. Please.
I'm asking nicely. Ooh, ooh. Poor Rez. He's trying to avoid the clipping.
Take these articles down and stop pretending there's a controversy where there isn't. I promise if you do, I'll go back to streaming and you can go back to reporting on the Berlin Sex Toy Expo or whatever it is.
Oh, yes.
You do. Love Kische. I think this is a fantastic response to what's going on here. Somehow making this funny while also addressing a serious cancellation campaign being spearheaded by Vice, trying to engage in life ruination, and they just won't give up. The people involved with these posts and articles attacking her have no credibility. They're massive hypocrites, and they're trying to...
Like I said, Kische has a legit defamation article. A legit defamation, not article. She has a legit defamation case. Unlike what we saw yesterday with Denims. She has a legit defamation case against Vice. She can demonstrably prove that she has been impacted financially because of the slander Vice conducted. She lost a sponsorship. She lost money. That is far more like Denims. Take note. This is actual defamation right here. Okay? You know, Denims, if you watch my stream, and I know you're not, but that's okay. This is what an actual defamation case looks like. You have to demonstrate you are financially impacted by the defamatory statements of the other party. And Kische has that in fucking spades. She can literally probably pull a Hulk Hogan and shut down fucking Vice with this case if she wanted. Because don't forget, Hulk Hogan shut down Gawker because I can't remember if it was defamation that he went after them for. But he literally got the Gawker publication shut down because of something that they wrote about. It was either him or his daughter. I can't remember what. Yeah, it was like something like that. This is legitimately something that could probably shut Vice down because Vice is not doing well as a publication, to my understanding. Like, they are getting hammered on every which way for bullshit for bullshit stories. And if Kirsche actually brought this to court, she might actually be able to take Vice down literally with the defamation on this. Because she'd not only go after Anna, she'd be going after Vice, because Vice was like okay with publishing her articles, plus other articles that supposedly substantiated. So if Vice doesn't back down and Kirsche decides to push this, I really do think she would push it, she could literally take Vice down. Which would be fucking awesome to see.
With these posts and articles attacking her have no credibility, they're massive hypocrites, and they're trying to make a name for themselves in various ways and on various platforms, and it's so obvious what they're doing. As always, support Kirsche in this. That's going to do it for this video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.
Now, there it is. Okay. I didn't know too much about it. I'm glad I got to see the video and learn all about this because it was very interesting. Like the one thing I really knew about it was that really sick, disgusting fucking fiction from Anna. And that's it. This went very nicely in depth, and I got a good idea about what's going on. And again, I'm kind of hoping Vice keeps trying to push this and Kirsche just brings the whole fucking publication down. That would be absolutely glorious, and I will bring marshmallows to roast over the fire.